The full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russia is fast approaching its fourth year, settling into a grueling war of attrition where the front line has hardened into a deadly stalemate. Yet beneath the clamour of constant warfare, a new and determined diplomatic offensive is unfolding. Central to this effort is the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, who undertook a critical visit to Turkey this week, aiming to breathe life into stalled peace negotiations and re-energise the global coalition supporting Kyiv's ultimate goal, a comprehensive and just end to the conflict. The timing of the visit, scheduled for Wednesday, November 19, 2025, according to numerous reports, underscores Ukraine's two-pronged strategy, securing the instruments of defence while simultaneously controlling the narrative of peace. It followed a significant tour of European capitals designed to bolster military support and diplomatic solidarity. The complexity of the mission is immense, as the current diplomatic landscape is riddled with competing interests and Moscow's outright refusal to participate in the upcoming discussions. The defining characteristic of the war in late 2025 is a strategic deadlock. Despite massive support from Western allies, Ukrainian forces are locked in fierce attritional battles, particularly in the eastern and southern regions. This military immobility places immense pressure on the diplomatic front. Without a decisive victory, the only path to resolution rests on either a collapse of one side's fighting will or a breakthrough at the negotiating table. President Zelenskyy's European tour was meticulously planned to prevent any perception of weakness. Just days before landing in Ankara, the Ukrainian leader met with the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, where agreements were signed concerning the acquisition of significant defence hardware, including up to 100 Rafale warplanes. Similar high-level meetings were held in Spain, aimed at securing new pledges of military and political support. This concerted push for weaponry sends a clear signal. Ukraine is negotiating from a position of fortified resilience. The underlying objective of the Turkey meeting is to re-engage key international mediators, primarily Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, and crucially, the United States. Reports indicated that a US Special Envoy, Steve Witkoff, would be present for the meetings in Ankara, highlighting the vital role Washington is expected to play in any future peace mechanism. Turkey holds a unique place in the history of this war's diplomacy. It was the host for the only senior face-to-face talks between Russian and Ukrainian delegations in the spring of 2022, and it remains a vital partner in humanitarian efforts, most notably through the earlier mediation of the Black Sea Grain Initiative. This week's talks, however, are distinct in their structure. They are focused on advancing the Ukrainian peace formula rather than immediate direct talks with Russia. The agenda is pragmatic and immediate, yet tied to the grand strategic goal. Speaking via social media during his European tour, President Zelenskyy outlined the nation's proactive preparations for the Turkish talks, confirming that Ukraine is not merely reacting to events, but driving the diplomatic process. He stated that the government has been developing concrete proposals for its partners. We are preparing to reinvigorate negotiations, and we have developed solutions that we will propose to our partners. This is a firm declaration that Kyiv is seeking to establish internationally backed terms for peace, rooted in respect for its territorial sovereignty. The Ukrainian government is keen to prevent any externally imposed frozen conflict scenario that would reward Russian aggression. Beyond the strategic discussions, the president also underscored the central humanitarian imperatives that remain crucial to any progress, regardless of the battlefield situation. He confirmed that the return of citizens held in Russian captivity remains a non-negotiable priority, stating, "We are also working to restore POW exchanges and bring our prisoners of war home." Ultimately, the president framed the entire diplomatic push as an essential continuation of the national defence effort, underscoring that the pursuit of a political end is the highest aim of the government. Doing everything possible to bring the end of the war closer is Ukraine's top priority. The Kremlin's reaction to the talks was predictable and calculated. Russian officials confirmed that Moscow would not be participating in the discussions hosted by Turkey. On Wednesday, November 19th, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov confirmed the decision during his daily press briefing, effectively seeking to minimize the impact of the talks while keeping Russia's diplomatic options open. He confirmed the talks would proceed without the Russian delegation, while simultaneously maintaining that Russia remains open to hearing the results of the discussions. The spokesman stated, "For now, These contacts are taking place without Russian participation. We will await information on what would actually be discussed in Istanbul. This deliberate absence is Moscow's consistent strategy, refusing to engage directly with Kyiv on its current terms, while signaling an openness to negotiate only with Western intermediaries, provided that the terms implicitly or explicitly accept Russia's claimed annexations of Ukrainian territory. This fundamental chasm, Ukraine's insistence on the full restoration of its 1991 borders versus Russia's demand for the acceptance of new realities, is the intractable barrier preventing any substantial peace dialogue. The meetings in Turkey, therefore, are less about immediate peace with Moscow and more about fortifying the international position against Moscow, ensuring that diplomatic pressure and political resolve among allies do not falter. The involvement of the US envoy and the continuous engagement of President Erdoğan are crucial mechanisms for ensuring this unified international front remains robust. The diplomatic mission in Turkey symbolizes the unwavering determination of the Ukrainian leadership to translate military tenacity and global support into a political pathway forward. By proposing tangible solutions and centering the conversation on key humanitarian goals, President Zelensky's trip works to build a framework for peace that is based on justice and international law. The continuation of the war means that every diplomatic effort carries significant risk and even greater hope. With Russia refusing direct engagement, the meeting in Ankara serves as a vital staging ground for Ukraine and its partners to solidify their terms, coordinate their strategies, and ensure the ongoing military and financial lifelines remain secure. It is a necessary step on the long, difficult road to peace, undertaken amid the relentless backdrop of war.